Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem. Libertatem simulacrum, e compere amori conatur. Libertatem simulacrum, e compere amori conatur. A shower is a day, not a year. A shower is a turning of the stars. A shower is a day, not a year. A shower is a turning of the stars. Just passing through. Just passing through. Just passing through. Just passing through. A shower is a day, not a year. A shower is a turning of the stars. A shower is a day, not a year. A shower is a turning of the stars. Just passing through. 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 Libertatem simulacrum, e compere amori conatur. Libertatem simulacrum, e compere amori conatur. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem simulacrum. Libertatem. Libertatum simulacrum, ecum vere amori conitur. Oh, hey, oh. Libertatum simulacrum, ecum vere amori conitur. Oh, hey, oh. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
Come on, Billy. Everyone knows Atlantis wasn't 12,000 years ago. It was in the 1800s or something.
Atlantis 10,000 years ago? Even I'm not that dumb.
Come on, G, you can't contain this. You're gonna sink like Atlantis.
Billy Carson is fake news, the fakest news. Jason has proven that.
After careful analysis of Jason's data sets, I agree with you, Billy. Don't debate him.
The cat's out of the bag, Billy. Jason's data set proves you're wrong about Atlantis.
Billy, even I can see that the Atlantis narrative isn't dated correctly. Hear Jason out, man.
Hey bro, you running from this debate isn't a good look for your research. Just debate him already.
Billy, don't be scared to debate, man. I'll have you guys on the podcast.
I wasn't so sure about this Archaix thing, but AIX is certainly worth looking into.
I'm most impressed that Jason is not going to tell you something. He's going to show you.
Archaix shows us if you record enough facts, the answers just stare you in the face.
A man who knows the facts is unafraid to joust with contrary opinions. That's Jason.
I can't have that dude on my show. You know how many guys I've had on here who are running from that dude? Be a mess.
Jason says being wrong gets us closer to being right.
You got to break free or die trying, guys.
Archaix showed me how to see if there was a tater in them onions.
Listen, Archaix isn't one guy against the Matrix. That's dumb. No, it's a family of souls waking up.
If I've learned anything since finding Archaix, if something is true somewhere, it's probably true everywhere.
Jason said if it's true, we can see it from multiple different vantage points.
So I broke pattern and went up there and slapped that guy. Total pattern break.
If you get stumped, you got to break pattern.
Jason says you don't need to know how to read, you need to know how to think. I think that's where I went wrong.
Jason figured it out. People are smart and they can decide for themselves if something is true or not.
No, I don't have anything to hide. I just don't want Jason anywhere near my accounting files.
There's a bunch of us who don't listen to Archaix. We signed a different deal. I think it's AIX or something.
Yeah. A sure is a day, not a year. Man, she went off on that song, didn't she? Man, I wonder what inspired her to put that music together. It's so good. I wonder if it was Billy. A sure is a turning of the stars. All right. So apparently my sound is good. Audio was solid. Thank you, Nelson. Julia. So today is absolute 100% just take off freestyle Q&A. Whole world's a psyop, and there's psyops within psyops. There's programs and subroutines and subroutines within the subroutines. All just one big major cluster F of feedback loops of psyops. And that's what we do in Archaix. We peel back the layers to see what's really being promoted, what's being ignored, what's being shelved, and what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Hello, Monica Faro, driving that tractor today. Justin, Pamela Swan, Shell Cracker, Riyadh, I got your email on the Office app. I haven't had a chance to really go into it and look with some detail. Excellent. So I started a new playlist about 6 months ago called Epic Drops. And it's where I take about 12 to 14 older Archaix presentations and I run them through this software that cuts them up into shorts. And then I mix them all up by topic and create these 1 hour, 1.5 hour long presentations of nothing but me in 12 to 14 different videos, just expounding on different topics, sometimes ranting as I want to. So, for those of you who don't know, there is a playlist with just epic drops, and there's 7 videos in there already, but we're about to unleash 7 more. A lot of people like those epic drops because epic drops, you're getting the juicy right off the cuff. No intros, no ads, no nothing. It's just straight clip after clip. It's like information overload. So we got those coming. Star Wars, the Star Wars video will be released September 16th. Why that arbitrary date? Well, you're just going to have to wait till September 16th to find out. But there's a very good reason for the Archaix Star Wars, excuse me, the official Archaix Star Wars decode has to be done on September 16th. It will be very apparent on September 16th why that day was chosen. Let's see. I saw an old friend of mine in the chat. I think it was Jay Hart. May the force be with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get that Shar song out of here before I accidentally play that again. All right, removed from studio. I mean, we already know. It doesn't even need to be discussed. We've already talked about it ad nauseum. We already know NASA's a psyop. Anybody who has taken the time to educate themselves on any of the material that NASA has ever put out, we know that the entire field of NASA research is psyop. It's all bullshit, every bit of it. So I'm reading, talk about books. I'm reading, I had to reread Ages in Chaos by Immanuel Velikovsky. I stayed up late last night doing it because I'm going real deep on Archaix 4.0, and I had to go back to some original source materials and make sure they said exactly what they said. Because a lot of people, they have trouble with the Archaix chronology, but that's only because they've been educated to believe that the official establishment chronology that's been put out for the history of the world is accurate, and it's not. In video after video after video, and in published book after published book after published book, I am completely dismantling the establishment record of chronology. And I'm putting everything back into their proper perspective where they go, verifying from multiple different vantage points and multiple different cross-reference source materials. This is what I do. But in 4.0, I'm putting it all together. But Immanuel Velikovsky caught that's why they hate him. He got the establishment in some lies concerning the dating of certain pharaohs, and I remembered that research. And now that I'm putting together, I believe I'm going to do it tomorrow. But I'm putting together my Archaix 2.0, my Archaix 4.0 episode 2. I may go live tomorrow and do that. It's why it's on my mind while I'm on fire, because Velikovsky supports the Phoenix phenomenon research profoundly without even knowing anything about the Phoenix phenomenon, because he shows where the establishment dating of the pharaohs is completely wrong. It's totally arbitrary. He makes a very valid point. He says, we didn't even discover the Rosetta Stone until 1799. It wasn't translated by Champollion until 1801. But the chronology that we have for the Egyptian pharaohs antedates even our deciphering and discovery of Egyptian hieroglyphs. You understand here? What this means is someone decided for you when all these pharaohs actually ruled. They decided for you what were co-dynasties and what weren't co-dynasties, and they put together the model and then forced it onto the world. And then all anthropologists, archaeologists, historians, and chronologists then modeled their own research based off the new timeline put out sometime 400 or 500 years ago. And yet, when we discovered the Rosetta Stone and we cracked the code to Egyptian hieroglyphs by looking at the Demotic and the Greek, because that's what the Rosetta Stone was. It was hieroglyph, it was Egyptian Demotic, was the script, the Egyptian script, and it was Greek. So we were able to translate hieroglyphs now. But the chronology that we have from Egyptologists today is the exact same as it was in the days of Manetho. And Manetho made so many mistakes, as I've shown in my research. And yet, it's the chronology we still have today. It's the one published in the collegiate sources. Your universities are putting out a false chronology that has never even been amended. Not one pharaonic dynasty, nothing has been amended in this entire Egyptian falsified history, even after the discovery of Egyptian hieroglyphs and our ability to go in and now read all these dynastic lists and everything that's on these temples from Waset and Thebes and Karnak, everywhere except the Osirion, because the Osirion doesn't have hieroglyphs. It's got pictures of tanks, helicopters, armament right next to natural animals. Go figure that one out. And the Osirion was discovered underneath the sand of the desert in the reign of Seti I. But I digress. I'm not even talking about all that. I had to order this book. And then when I saw what I was getting, I had to order this book 2, which I have. And I ordered I also ordered the comic book, the graphic novel right here. Oh yeah, this is amazing. The premise of this book, first of all, the date is 42 years off. But I'm going to show in Archaix 4.0 why this date is 4.0. This guy put out an entire book going through all the archaeological reports, all the historical reports, ancient historians, the Egyptian monuments, everything about the Sea Peoples Federation invasions and the worldwide catastrophe that happened in the middle of the war. The reason that he lists 60 cities that all collapsed by earthquakes, destruction, fires, all at the exact same time, all over Egypt, Libya, the Levant, Crete, all of Syria, all of Hittite Anatolia, the destruction reaching as far as Babylonia, all the Greek cities felt it, all of Ionia, all the way across into Argos, Attica, Boeotia, all the ancient Greek Peloponnesus, all the way to the Dardanelles, Troy, Ilium, the war for the fall of Troy was all a part of this. He shows everything. It's amazing what is shown in this book. And yet, there we go. It's amazing what is shown in this book. But it's really easy to show why he believed the date was 1177 BC instead of the proper date, 1135 BC, as I've shown many times in published books and videos. This book is harrowing in what happened. It started the Great Mediterranean Dark Age. But he got the date 1177 BC because he, like everybody else in the world, always modifies their own research to comport with the falsified Egyptian pharaonic timeline. And Emanuel Velikovsky blew that shit wide open concerning Ramesses III and how he was specifically dated to the wrong period. Yeah, Ramesses' daddy was Segnakti. And Segnakti's very last inscription was all about woes. Woe unto us, tsunamis, red dust falling from the sky, red rain, earthquakes destroying the kingdoms and the invaders of the sea peoples from the Atlantic. The sea peoples were invading and it was all doom. Ramesses III's dad was the one that left that inscription. And then he died very quickly. He only ruled for 2 years. And Ramesses III was the post-cataclysm pharaoh who tried to put the world back together, but all he had was Egypt because the rest of the world was destroyed and Egypt was critically wounded. Anyway, we're going to get into that in Archaix 4.0. But here is the graphic novel version, and it's fantastic. It is fantastic. This is really good for kids. This book here is really good for kids, right here. It's a big book. It's not small by any means. But this tells the story of what started the great 400-year Mediterranean Dark Age. Remember, I've told you in all my past research that I've divulged that it was the great Mediterranean Dark Age is the reason why when the Greeks came back onto the scene, the first calendar mentioned is the Greek Olympiad system, 776 BC. They initiated that when they came out of the Dark Age. Literacy exploded, but everything was simple and mythological. That's why we have Theognis. That's why we have Hesiod, Works and Days. That's why we have Homer's Odyssey, Homer's Iliad. The three great epic poem writers were all writing in great mythological terms, but within 200 years, they became very, very scientific, introducing the Ionian scientists, such as Episode 1, Archaix 4.0, revealed just 2 days ago. Starting with Thales of Miletus, who predicted a phoenix phenomenon event. In the next Archaix presentation, probably tomorrow, we're going to take it to another level. You're going to see that they absolutely had in their possession this information, this ability to predict the phenomenon because they knew the cycle, and it has since been forgotten. But yeah, this is really good, really, really good. I mean, adults are going to really like that too, but it's a good book. So thank you, Tiffany, for the birthday present. She sent me, you're not going to believe this. Look how big this is. African traditions, African folklore. One of the last true great Africans that can convey this to us in really good, understandable English because he's very educated. Here he is. Credo Mutwa. Very good present. I have 4 other books on African traditions and deal. I don't have a lot. I've got a lot on Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Russia. I got a lot on the Middle Ages, different time periods. I have all of Aesop's fables, all kinds of fairy tales, and I got all Robert Graves, Bullfinch's mythology. I got that whole section. But when it comes to Africa, this is my 5th book, and this might be the most authoritative. I mean, it's Credo. So we'll see. We'll see. 4 books that I specifically ordered because this is a very highly recommended book, especially Archaix veterans that are always ordering what I recommend. Out of all of the books I'm showing you today, and there's only four more I'm going to show you, I recommend this book because it really opened my eyes. When I was in prison and I came across this book, I studied the hell out of it. I could not believe how incredibly intricate this guy's research was on the civilizations and humanity itself, how they survived the Great Flood and moved on to build Sumer, Akkad, Assyria, Elam, Egypt, the Peloponnesus, ancient Argos, all that. This is the book. Bill Cooper. This book here, After the Flood, is amazing. Do not judge a book by its cover. The early post-flood history of Europe traced back to Noah. This book is fantastic. I could not believe it when I was on Amazon, and I just wanted to look up post-diluvian studies, see if anybody published any recent books, because I have one. Return of the Fallen Ones has a lot about the pre-flood and post-flood world in it, but I'm just trying to do some more research, and this book I read in prison popped up, so I ordered it quick. Added to my library. I got to reread it. Talks about there were no ice ages. Shows all the scientific data that the right after the Great Flood, the northern and southern extremities stayed frozen in the habitable belt. The reason Sumer, Akkad, Elam, Urartu in northern India, Egypt were inhabited is because the rest of the world was still frozen and it was thawing out. Because when the vapor canopy collapsed, it first shattered like glass. Can you imagine a cataclysm when the sky itself breaks like glass? And then the pieces fall down, but none of them remain because they melt. The pieces the size of buildings and islands fall from the sky, destroying all kinds of stuff. And then for 40 days and 40 nights, all this liquid just continues to fall on the world as these giant shards recede. But the vapor canopy world of high humidity, increased atmospheric pressure, and extreme warmth, not quite hot, but it's very, very warm all over the world, is completely shattered. Everything is quick frozen. Anything north of 40 degrees north latitude and 40 degrees south latitude, and the belt between is the only temperate area where people can survive. And this is why we have the pyramid belt here. This is why we have all the ancient cities of the world are in this belt. They couldn't survive anywhere else. And after about 800 years, the northern and the southern extremities receded, and this is where you get your errata, your glaciation, all the glacial deposits and all that. It's not from ice ages, it's from the collapse of the vapor canopy. So awesome book. Oh yeah, it talks about giants, giant ecology, all that. Also, this right here, Ken Johnson's a really good researcher, ancient post-flood history. And what he did is he did the same thing I do. Go through all the known writings like the Apocalypse of Barak, the Apocryphon of Moses, the Book of Jasher, Book of Jubilees, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Enoch. Just goes through all these pseudepigraphical and apocryphal texts and pulls out every single citation about anything that happened right after the flood, the first few centuries after the flood. So this is a compendium of citations from all, like you see, all the different languages, from all these different sources about what was going on in the world in the first 3 or 4 centuries after the flood. This is Seder Olam. Seder Olam is an absolutely fascinating chronology that was written 2,000 years ago using the Annus Mundi system. Seder Olam is often confused with the Jewish calendar. They are not the same. There is no connection. In fact, in my research, I have shown many times that it was the rabbinate, it was the rabbis that absolutely admitted to falsifying Hebrew chronology in order to throw off the goy. I mean, to stop Christians from trying to use the book of Daniel 70 weeks as a countdown to anything. Yeah, that's right, guys. Whoever these people are that have basically infiltrated the original Hebrews, these people calling themselves Jews now, they have created the Jewish calendar, which is a fiction. And 450 years ago, didn't exist. But we did have an accurate chronology. It is absolutely amazing. It's based off the Phoenix. And in Seder Olam, you find out exactly what these dates are, and they're Phoenix dates. I'm going to show it to you. Also ordered this one. Not quite my type of book. Fallen Angels, Giants, Monsters in the World Before the Flood. Rick Renner. Really, it's really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's for a baby Phoenix. It's good. It's good. My only issue is he's really heavily, Rick Renner can't seem to divorce himself from his indoctrination and just report the facts. I'm just going to say it like it is. I hope he doesn't get offended. It is a fantastic book. It's very well put together. It's data packed with good information, but it just leans so Christian. It's like, man, I can do without a lot of this. Just report the facts. So, yeah. Anyway, other than that, it's a really good book. So I'm done sharing. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm really excited about Archaix 4.0 because it allows me to go through all my different files, pull out all my bookmarks, because before I do a 4.0 presentation, I'm also going through my library. I have another building full. I'm gonna do a video showing that with Grendel Dark. But I'm gonna show off my new building, which has all now my library is very organized. And I like to go in there in my study, and I can pull data fast from all these different time periods and all these different book collections. So I can put these videos together really good. All right. All right. Oh, I heard Mr. Traumatic is in the chat. It's time for you to put out another song, man. You gotta let me know what you need. Oh, my shirt. My shirt. Data sets don't lie. People do. So right now, if you're chatting with each other, then just continue to do so in small caps. But if you want to ask me personally right now and get an answer that if something is a psyop or not, put it in all caps. Let's start those questions like right now. That's so good. So good. Thank you, Mr. C. Ask questions in all caps. Brett said overpopulation. We know that's a psyop. In the past 3 years, I have been all over the southern and western United States. No such thing as overpopulation. When it takes you hours to drive between cities and you see nothing but open land as far as the eye can see, there is no overpopulation going on here. That's an absolute psyop. People are clustered in the cities. They're just clustered in the cities. The highest concentrations of people are all in the cities. Yeah, there's a lot of people out in the country, but, you know, there's still no overpopulation. Okay, Ben Davidson was Suspicious Observer, Space Weather News, his theory on solar-based disaster cycle. I'm going to tell you now, Ben Davidson may be a likable guy. His heart might be in the right place, but 100% of his data is coming from an intelligence agency called NASA that's taking billions of dollars every single year and not sending a damn thing in space. It is all psyop. Everything they do is in water tanks in Houston, Texas, right here, right down the road from where I live. You can go to the Space Center yourself and see for yourself a model of the International Space Station suspended in a swimming pool, and you can see astronauts training and all stuff all underwater, because the very place they train is also the place they film all that BS. Yeah, I'm not buying it. One of the greatest books that I've read on the topic is Dark Moon. And in Dark Moon, these NASA whistleblowers, they show you all the evidence that this was all faked. They show you a 1969 Dr. Pepper bottle on the moon. Who left that on the moon? Because they later resized those photographs. You know those moon shots that have little X's in them, the little frames of reference? Yeah. Well, the original stills had wider margins. You could see cables and camera equipment. You see all stuff. But when the final edits were done, they downsized the perimeters of the film so you only see what they want you to see. But the originals have Dr. Pepper bottles, and yeah, it is so ludicrous that people still believe that we went to the moon in 1969 and have subsequently lost the technology. Yeah, we had 4 space shuttles that were much superior technology, and not one of those space shuttles has been to space. They only go to HALO, high altitude, low orbit. They've never been to space. Yeah, everything we have suspended in the sky is in HALO. Nothing is in space. HALO is high altitude, low orbit. It is an area where helium balloons that are colored the exact same color as the backdrop of the stellosphere or the sky keep them suspended almost indefinitely. Yeah. And then when some of that technology, something happens, one of the helium balloons loses helium. When something happens, the narrative machine goes into overdrive. Oh my God, over Southern California, a Chinese satellite was spotted and we shot it down. No, we didn't. It's one of our satellites and the helium ran out. It's real simple. Happens all the time. But when it comes over an area that's densely populated and a lot of people see and film it, they got to create a story. It's dumb. Yeah, Ben Davidson's all right. You know, he's all big on that no fear deal. That's all cool. It's just kind of oxymoronic. when all you do is put out information about X flares and solar flares and any one of these can kill us. But his model is absolutely dependent 100% on the NASA model that's been perpetuated, and all the NASA data is given out. Without NASA, does he have a theory? If you remove NASA and all the information that they make public on all their websites and shit, do you even have a theory? Yeah. If NASA went away today, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. Because there's never been a solar flare that ever affected our world. Ever. Something else is going on. Yeah, it's crazy. My thoughts on all the recent volcanic activity. We're going to have increasing that's what Phoenix is. Another name for Phoenix is Vulcan. And that's what Phoenix does. The red dust fallout, red rain, all coming from Phoenix is volcanic in origin. And every time Phoenix is here, volcanoes are always going off. This is what I've shown many times. But as Phoenix approaches, then you're going to see increased. It's not just 2025. You'll see more volcanic activity and earthquake activity in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. You know, it's you have to understand the reason the elite and the controllers have already built their underground facilities. They've already got, man, there's so many truckers now with YouTube videos. I don't take my word for it. Go search. TikTok and YouTube have truckers that are exposing hundreds, even thousands of miles long tunnels underneath the United States, connecting Washington, D.C., New York, Colorado, Denver. Yeah, Denver airport. They go everywhere, and they probably go. There's probably one massive infrastructure of tunnels at one level, and then some tunnels go down to a sub level that's even more protected. There may be even a third level even further down. But yeah, this is where do you think our civilizations are capitalist, and they make a tremendous amount of money. Where do you think all this money is going? Why do you think Nancy Pelosi was needed to fleece the American people with four different multi-trillion-dollar stimulus deal packages? Why? They got to pay for all this shit. They got to pay for all these people to work, pay for all. Yeah, it's expensive operation. But it's all planned. There's nothing Jason of Archaix is making up. You can look at the congressional records for the years 1973, 74, and 75, and you will see that appropriations bills were put out to finance all these underground cities. Not making anything up. Everything is a matter of public record. You can't accuse them of hiding anything. So yeah, it's overpopulation's BS. There's probably a few million people underneath the United States right now. There may even be some type of extinction level event protocol activated right now to where several underground cities at different depths and at different locations under the United States have already been populated and sealed shut already. Just in case something unexpected happens that even they didn't anticipate. Remember, when you're dealing with our controllers and you're dealing with the elite, we're dealing with a body politic that already knows all the things that we're just now figuring out. They already know about the Phoenix history. I've shown an immense amount of data that this has been known by every generation going back 4,000 years. And I'm just now putting it together. You're just now experiencing it and seeing it. It's like, and you're having all these mind explosions. Like, damn, it was right in our face. No, here it is. They haven't hidden anything. It's always out there in the form of symbols. It's always out there in the form of architecture. It's in the form of events, psyops, trucker convoys. Okay, if you know you're going to be using truckers to move a tremendous amount of stuff, then you need to normalize it in the media, but call it something else. So we had all these patriotic truckers that were driving in different areas to do stuff, to help at the border, to help with the Canadians, to do all kinds of things. Nobody knew what was going on. So it was very easy for thousands and thousands of trucks in 2020, 2021, and 2022 at the same time that mainstream media was telling us that we're getting real light on the shelves of America. We're missing toilet paper. We're missing a lot of hygiene items. There's certain foods, canned goods. You remember that? You remember for a while there, the media was talking about, man, we got stores are kind of coming up empty and all that. Yeah, they tell the truth, but don't tell you why. They make you believe it's something else. Let me move on. Is the war in Ukraine a psyop? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's another Vietnam War. Absolutely. How do I know it's a psyop? Because I know Vladimir Putin has the resources to mow over Ukraine in 2 days. It would have taken nothing. He's been able to do it. He's been in position to do it. And modern warfare isn't what you think anymore. Yeah, the age of the armored columns and troops are now occupation forces. They're not needed for warfare. They're needed to occupy what you take. Yeah. Now we can send 5,000 computer-controlled drones into an area, each one having one explosive, and go in and completely neutralize an entire country's ability to defend itself. And we can do it without losing a single man. Drone, this is what Israel does. Drone warfare. The United States has perfected it. We've got this. It's easy to do. We can have battle carrier groups that look real intimidating and real mad because they've got those Ohio class and Los Angeles class, Triton class nuclear submarines. They've got those missile destroyers. The age of the battleship is over with. It's all missile destroyers now. Now they just shoot missiles. Submarines just shoot missiles, and they're all Halo satellite guided. Yeah, warfare isn't anything like it was in World War I and World War II. Even the Vietnam War was really the last. Korean War were the last times that conventional warfare was fought. Warfare now will be a totally different thing. Totally different. I mean, can you imagine how terrifying it would be being a human soldier and all of a sudden some mechanized giant tank thing just rolls through a forest, opens up a hatch, and all these dogs with 81 millimeter Vulcan cannons strapped on their back. And then you realize right as the bullets are tearing through you, those aren't even dogs. Those are robots with 81 millimeter cannons on them, being remote controlled by some 21-year-old kid with a military insignia sitting out somewhere. Why do you think they push video games so hard? Remember the movie, wasn't Starship Troopers? That was later. What was the name of the movie in the 80s where an alien civilization was recruiting Starfighter, The Last Starfighter? Do you remember that movie? Yeah. Has a grain of truth to it. It has a grain of truth to it. Just like we recently talked about the movie where the kid was trained to fight an alien civilization in a simulation. But they didn't tell him that one of his exercises was the real deal because they didn't want him under pressure. They wanted him firing off at all neurons, and he won. It's called Ender's Game. Same concept. Same concept. Oh, Utopian Cow Mothership. You're asking me if Carlos Castaneda books are a psyop. I don't know. I've never read a single one of them, but I have a very good friend who has read them, and he lives by them. And I have to judge things by their effects. It's affected him very positively. So I don't know. Rustafarian is Christmas is psyop. Yeah. Christmas is Nimrod's birthday. Yep. Husband and son of Queen Semiramis of Babylon. Some good questions. Let's see. Jennifer Jean, can you speak about the red sun in the sky a few days ago? I saw a video clip of it, and I really don't use any of this as evidence, Jennifer. From the inception of my channel, I've always been source back material. I don't use video footage or pictures as evidence of anything. They can be so manipulated now. It is intriguing to me, but at the same time, I don't believe that you're looking at a real sky. I believe that you are within a contained environment. And when you look up at the sky, you are looking at a multi-tiered holographic display that is designed to make you believe that you're in a heliocentric model when you're not. When you're not. You're at the dead center on a flat plane in the middle of a toroidal field. And that toroidal field is made of pure flowing programming that provides you all the sense perceptions you need because you're jacked into this field by virtue of the central nervous system. And the central nervous system retranslate this pure data into experience through sight, touch, hear, smell. It's very believable. It's some type of hyperdimensional spiritual technology. It's far beyond my ability to convey to you exactly what we're experiencing. I just know it's not a real world. It's not a real reality. Therefore, it's not a real sky. China is under 800 million. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. I don't know what China's is, but I don't believe China's near as populated as they say. Just don't. Credo Mudwa. Yeah, Banton. I have a book that was given to me for my birthday. I got it in the mail today. It's a Credo Mudwa book. I've been talking about him lately. The first time I ever heard on was through some critical papers that I was reading concerning Michael Tellinger. Apparently he and Michael Tellinger fell out. I don't know what the issue was, but that's the first time I ever heard of him, so I started looking into him. Tedbury Combo, 100,000 years of Aboriginal Australians. He's asking me if it's a uniformitarian psyop. I'm going to tell you, Tedbury, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Your own country of Australia has yielded forth 4,000-year-old Dravidian statues, Dravidian text, Dravidian artwork, amulets, pennants. Your continent has shown that the Australian Aboriginal is no different than the Dravidian culture, the pure blood Dravidian culture of ancient India. And that and that whole area of the world, you could walk back and forth until something happened. And the Pacific rose. When the Pacific rose, first of all, when the southern hemisphere oceans rose, creating island chains and archipelagos, or however you say it, north of the equator, the oceans went down. It's a huge cycle. Those of you familiar with what I'm talking about, there is a scientist who published a book called Cyclical Flood Theory about the disposition of waters from the southern hemisphere into the northern hemisphere. It's a cycle. It's called 1871 Cyclical Flood Theory. His research was published to show that ice ages are total bullshit, and that all this data from ice ages is actually showing diluvian destructions. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, not buying it. Not buying the hundreds of thousands of years of Aboriginal. I'm not buying none of that uniformitarian stuff. In fact, there's no evidence of any great age for the Aboriginals any older than the people of India, the Dravidians of India. There's just no evidence for it. We have fossil human footprints inside what are said to be dinosaur footprints in Glen Rose, Texas, right here, and in many other places around the world. So if a fossil is only a few thousand years old, then yeah, all that uniformitarian crap about the antiquity of Aboriginals is just untrue. It's just untrue. It's also an insult. It's an absolute insult. We can call it what it is. To say that the Aboriginals have been there unchanged in their culture, I understand. I don't talk much about it, but I've done some reading on Aboriginal culture. People were very intelligent, very smart, very in tune with nature, but their entire ecology was in tune with their environment, and their environment was a marsupial environment, not a mammalian. Very different than the rest of the world. Further, it's absolutely racist to say that a race of people today on a continent with unlimited resources would have never evolved and become technologically advanced like the rest of the world and never did anything when they had hundreds of thousands of years to do it. No. The actual truth is about 5,000 years ago, those people were marooned. After a cataclysm, a colony of Dravidians found themselves with an ocean between them and home when they had originally walked there. So, yeah, that's why they're at a state of primitivism. They went from advanced to primitive. But to assume that they have hundreds of thousands of years of history all in Australia is to also say that they're just dumb and they never could advance. And to me, that's racist, and it's absolutely incorrect. No, I'm not buying it. Aboriginals haven't been there that long. Yeah, I know, Nelson. Overpopulation is a long-running psyop. It's a long-running psyop. Okay, is there such a thing as discharging debt, or are so-called gurus misleading people? I don't know who you're referring to. Are you talking about like a karmic debt, discharging karmic debt? I think that's automatically done by anybody who's in tune, who's moored to source, such as if you're following the golden rule, it doesn't matter what your philosophy is or what you're in, if you're indoctrinated to believe a certain thing, if you lean toward a certain faith or a belief or whatever. If you're following the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, then you would be automatically discharging karmic debt in every act that you do. You know, you guys know I don't talk about God a lot, but God to me is very personal, and the oversoul is just too vast for any of the religions of the world to confine. And the oversoul is too complex for any books in the world to even describe. And that 10,000 different opinions about God can all be different. And yet God is so eternal and vast that every single one of those opinions can also be right. So I also believe that the oversoul is so forgiving that the one selfless act of an instant can undo an entire lifetime of guilt. The God that I acknowledge, the oversoul that I know I'm moored to, source, isn't anything like the world perceives God to be. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the collective. Yeah, it's totally different. And I believe that on a daily basis, we're in a relationship with God, because by an extension, everything that we perceive around us has a modicum of the oversoul within it. So this is why when you hear something that is true, you resonate with it. This is what matter does. Two things that are alike in the quantum field become what's called entangled. They are entangled. The souls are the same way. So when you come across a soul that knows or is truth, you resonate with it, and you want to go everywhere with that soul. And I don't mean physically. I'm talking about whatever direction. But we can explore the past by virtue of imagination, and the future by the virtue of imagination. We can also explore the past by the virtue of memory. It may not be memory attached to a present avatar, but the memories of every avatar that we've ever had are in the field that can be tapped into. We experience those through hypnosis and through trauma and in all kinds of other ways. But through it all, I believe, yeah, you can discharge all kinds of debt. It's my main issue with the concept, though, is the fact that most religions, especially Western religions, are going to teach you that you were already guilty before you were even born. And that to me is highly toxic. It's extremely toxic. The whole Christian, you're born in sin type deal. And then gaslighting you even further. Not only are you born in sin, but it's the Jew first, then the Gentile. Yeah, man, F off. I'm not trying to hear all that at all. So dumb. So dumb. Listen, I'm not trying to avoid this. I don't like speaking up on other people's business. Somebody's asking, what happened to Shiva Shampoo? All right. Shiva Shampoo was a traveler. Didn't do anything wrong. He's Canadian. He was traveling. He had something in one of his suitcases that isn't bad almost anywhere in the entire world. But because of where he was traveling through, the stopover, this little small island chain has no economy. So they like to go through the luggage of people who have to make overnight stops before they can continue on toward their destination. It's way out in the Pacific. His luggage was gone through, and they found this item, which in other countries he probably wouldn't have got any trouble. In some countries, it's a ticket. It's a ticket. In this country, they made a big deal about it, and they took his visa. Once he took his visa, he had to stay on that island. He can't travel anymore. Then they prosecuted him. So he's going through that. That's what happened to Shiva Shampoo. I'm not going to tell you anymore. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. So, but he's a good guy, and I know there's about 30% of you listening to me right now that do every day what he got caught with. Yeah, every day. Some of you, it's a part of your lifestyle. Most of the people in my neighborhood do this stuff, but on this island, it was a no-no. Yeah, so yeah, he's going through it. Believe me, he comes back, he gets out of there or whatever, he's getting his moderator wrenched back immediately. And I'm going to send him a blessing to get him started. All right, I'm looking for another question. Anime of sport. Have you looked into the settlement I showed you that shares your last name in Arkansas? Oh, the Brashears? No, I haven't. I haven't looked into that. I haven't looked into that at all. I know there's about 900 Brashears in the United States. Yep, squirrel sniper. The only space is the distance between you and me. That's right. So we had hold on, Jamie Wells. I see your question. We had a great time yesterday live in the Cypher group. There's like 158, maybe 160 members in the Cypher group. Listen, I did not anticipate how awesome the members were. The Telegram group, I joined it yesterday. The Telegram group is fantastic. How people are helping each other out. I uploaded a whole bunch of Office and Cypher files for everybody to understand exactly what they're doing. People have downloaded the software. They're playing with it. Some guys are putting together Major League Baseball stats. People are finding all kinds of unique websites to get sports material in real time. Yeah, practicing with the event prediction software and everything we can practice with, while my business partner is basically creating a whole new version that puts them all the different software together into one workable piece in open source. And he sent me a questionnaire yesterday. I got to get back to that. I got to send him that today. But I just want to let you know that we're doing it. We're having a blast, and it's a very humbling experience to see how quickly. You got to understand 16, 17 years of development on Office, and then removing the things in Office that weren't working, developing Cypher, putting the date sequence predictive analytics system together, and seeing that it has way more applications than even I imagined is very humbling to see this interaction and how people are playing with it, and they're having fun, and they're even educating each other. It's sometimes I'm really moved by the cohesiveness of this community. Archaix as well. Archaix is the same. It's just not everybody can afford. That's why we did give away several free memberships to people who have been in Archaix for a long time. We did that. But you know what? That's what it's all about. So you're asking me, Jamie Wells, you're asking me about Douglas Vogt. Okay. Douglas Vogt is a writer. Excellent. Douglas Vogt as a Christian, I'm all for it. Douglas Vogt as a YouTuber video, his delivery kind of is I don't like it. But as far as his research output, Douglas Vogt represents to me what is wrong in modern research. Guys, I know I have raised the bar. In fact, I have other YouTubers that hate me so bad, they actually do videos and podcasts together talking about the news. It's a new psyop. Oh, all books are wrong. Everything. Oh, Archaix talking about AI. And so, shit, how do we know all those books weren't AI generated? And you know what? This is why Archaix even exists, to separate fact from fiction, to show you all the falsity and what remains behind. Because what remains behind will always be seen from multiple different vantage points. You will be able to verify it with a calculator. So, yeah, I got real haters in the field, guys. They're always talking that's their new thing now. Oh, all books are fake. That's why I do the Archaix challenge, which no one's ever overturned. When I name all the different ancient writers and ancient texts that mention the Phoenix numbers, because they're all highly specific numbers, talking about resets, talking about cataclysms and the cycles of earthquakes and cycles of destructions and epicycles. And every number that I name on that whole entire list is divisible by 138. I haven't had a single taker come forth and say that's wrong. All they want to do is talk about all books are fake. And yet their very next YouTube video is giving you information they got out of an old book. The hypocrisy is incredible. It's incredible. There's a lot, guys. I know a lot of you only watch me, but there's many of you that are out there watching these guys, and you see they throw their darts. Yeah, they're hating big, but not one of them want to come into the field and debate this BS because they're not qualified. They want to cherry pick these tiny little details and say Archaix is wrong about this, but none of them have attacked the thesis at all. That should tell you something. I don't know why my dogs are going off. Sounds like they're toning. Big Tank broke his leg. So I had mobile vet out here. Yeah, you got to understand, this is a big, everybody's been to my property will tell you. People in the comment section have been to my property. I have a gigantic Rottweiler. He's a mutant. I don't even know how he got this big. He's a big Rottweiler. And he broke his leg. It looks terrible. We've had him sedated. He's got his doggy drugs. I gave him a nice big fat pork chop just last night, bone and all. But on Douglas vote, sorry about the tangent. On Douglas vote, this is my problem with a lot of research. Yeah, I raised the bar. I'm going to continue to raise the bar. I'm not going to stop. But Douglas vote irritates the hell out of me because in 2004, Nature Magazine, I still have the original article today. Nature Magazine responded to an email campaign from a woman that took my research because I gave it to her. I was in prison, and a teacher in prison saw my chart that shows that something epically terrible is going to happen to the world in 2046. I drew this whole fold-out chart that showed all the timelines that I had been discovering in the world, and this was done. I still have that chart today. I still have the Nature magazine, or I keep saying Nature, it's Discover. I still have the Discover magazine that shows the article where it says, don't fall prey to these unprofessional theories about the year 2046. All over the internet. Back then it wasn't social media. It was just the internet, all over the internet, because there was all kinds of websites that were showing my chart. They were showing all, and she used to come to the prison and say, oh man, people are eating this up. They want to know more. Where'd you get all this information? And then the very next year I got a publishing contract from Booktree Press for Lost Scriptures of Giza. But I was in prison, and then I got my second contract, and it was my second contract when I actually released some of this data, but it was my third and fourth contract where I talked about 2046. But by then, it was all old news. So Discover magazine, I'll post the article. I'll go into my files and I'll find it, but I'll post it so you guys can see. Discover magazine basically criticized the theory, saying there's no evidence whatsoever anything bad is going to happen in 2046 and all that. And at that time, I can't find anything online where Douglas Vogt was talking about 2046. I can't find anything online until 2011. And in 2011, all of a sudden, Douglas Vought's talking about 2046, 2046, 2046. That's fine. So I do some research on Douglas Vogt, and I find out he's a part of the Diebold Foundation. It's his, and it's a bunch of scientists. They get together, and they do all these kind of things. That's really interesting. But where the smoke and mirrors comes in is the fact that Douglas Vogt, being a Christian fundamentalist and pulling much of his revelatory information from biblical gematria out of the Bible, found a Bible verse where the geometrical value was 2046. And then he says on his YouTube video that this is how he got the date 2046 for the next pole shift out of the Bible, using biblical gematria. But he goes over it real fast and then goes to all the scientific information that's been put out by his organization, the Diebold Foundation. A casual listener to Douglas Vogt will make the distinct connection that 2046 pole shift is the result of these Christian scientists' research, and it's not. It's not. It's very deceitful. Douglas Vogt's conclusion that it's going to be 2046 comes from a single verse in the Bible where the Hebrew geometrical value of the letters equals the number 2046. This is what he says. To me, that's very deceitful. Why ever mention pole shift research by the Diebold Foundation? Why mention all that when your sole data point for concluding 2046 was this biblical verse? Well, I can go through multiple Bible verses, and each one of them is going to give me a different number, and then I can stop at the number I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm not. That's why I raised the bar, guys. I'm not buying it. Douglas Vogt may have got that 2046 date from my previous chart that was all over the internet that Discover magazine responded to. I don't know. He may have come up with 2046 on his own, but if he did, it's not the result of scientific or chronological research. It is the result of biblical gematria, meaning it is entirely arbitrary. So, other than that, he may be a great guy. But I did my homework on Vogt, and I found out exactly how he got that 2046 date, and I was pretty depressed by it. It's like, wow. That's why I never cite him. When I'm citing David Davidson, Nostradamus, when I'm Mother Shipton, Nemesis X research, when I'm citing all my references for the number 2046, cross-calendrical parallels with Sodom and Gomorrah were wiped off the map in the year 2046 of the old world's calendar. When I'm going through, which is our year, 1849 BC, which is really interesting because in 1849 AD, another cross-calendrical parallel, Assyriologists found the underground library of Nippur and Nineveh. What did they find? They found the Lamentation tablets. What's in the Lamentation tablets? The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, guys. We live in a hologram that is self-referencing, and it's self-referencing through calendars. This is what I've been showing since the beginning of my channel. Now, that's Douglas Vogt. Jason, have you read Irish Wisdom Preserved in the Bible and the Pyramids? No, I have the PDF. It is on my reading list. So many people speak highly of it. I have not read it. Rustafarian, water holds memory. Of course it does. Of course it does. In fact, Thales of Miletus that I just did a video about 2 days ago, Thales of Miletus held that water was the source of everything, and it was the best representation for God in the world. Thales of Miletus believed that. Bill F., revenue streamers, 8 billion people in the world or less than half of that. I don't know. I just don't believe that there's that many people alive. I don't believe there's 8 billion people. But then again, I mean, I'm only here. I'm just in I'm in central southeast Texas. I'm nowhere else. So I really don't have a there's no way for me to verify any of that. Anime of sport. Do you have any roots from? No. I'm adopted into the Brashears family. My original last name was Wyndham. I'm adopted into the Brashears family. Powerwolf Orgo, feds now admit to using AI to create believable avatars in their psyops. Absolutely. There's a bunch of YouTube channels that are complete, absolute AI. Yeah, a bunch of y'all have been sending me this new woman who's out in the field talking about all kinds of Archaix related concepts. Real attractive woman. She's going off. To me, I don't like those channels where it shows a face going in and out. They're trying to show it's AI trying to mimic the effect of TikTokers who are recording their videos, and they're going like when they're recording their videos. Well, this new girl, I can't remember what her name is. I checked her out. I'm like, man, this is so AI. This right here, every bit of this is AI generated. This woman's not even real. And she's just going off on all kinds of topics. Never heard of her before. You have to be real suspicious of these types of people. Guys, remember, I had 300 videos before I had 1,000 subs. My delivery was poor. My audio was terrible. My visuals sucked. I had no CGI, no AI, nothing. I was doing all my videos on a phone and a tablet. 300 videos. There was a growth process. Many of you watched me. Many of you went through it. But when you get these new channels that just pop up and all of a sudden have 70, 80,000 subs within a year and a half, and they're all highly polished from the beginning, don't be fooled. They're almost all AI channels. Almost all. I was convinced that Elmer O'Lockyer was an AI channel. I'm still convinced that there's something wrong with that channel because I did a deep search on the dude and found out he was murdered in 1989. And I was like, damn. So I confronted the channel owner, and he sends me an email back with his explanation about, oh, man, I used that name because that was the name of my dad or something like that. But he didn't say that dude, that was his dad that died. And then in his videos, he says he sells cars and does all these, and he says very detailed, specific things that according to the coroner's report of that dude in 1989 that was killed, whose real name was Elmer O'Lockyer, that was what he did. Everything on the coroner report, that's what that man's job was. And that's what this YouTuber right here saying he does. I'm like, whoa, this is total identity theft of somebody who is dead. So then I find out the dude's real name. He's not Elmer O'Lockyer. I get his real name. He's in California. I'm like, man, this is getting ridiculous. The more smoke trails I see, these AI channels are, listen, they're very clever. They're very clever. I'm talking about the Elmer O'Lockyer channel right now, where all he talks about is Goddard, whatever the dude's name is, Nelson Goddard or whatever, like law of attraction type stuff. So it's a really easy topic. It's a really easy topic. These AI channels are getting very, very sophisticated. It's so easy to use AI and steal content from 5 different channels and then run the stolen content through another AI filter, then run it through a second AI filter, changing a voice. You've already merged the content. Now you can change the voice. And then the last thing is run an AI visuals. It's very easy to do for these tech wizards. Believe that. YouTube's is engaged on unleashing all kinds of AI channels and making them look as believable as possible because they don't have to pay content creators like me. They make 100% of all the money on the ads they throw at the beginning of the videos and in the middle of the videos because they fooled you into believing you're listening to a real person. Yeah, man, it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. Yeah, man. What's that dude, InfoWars? What's that crazy dude, InfoWars, that's real popular? Definitely a government asset, but everybody pretends like he's exposing shit. Only dumbass people in the collective believe that this dude is exposing stuff. This dude is a government asset. He's a government asset, and he's only talking about the very things the government wants him to talk about. Alex Jones. Joe Rogan is the same. Joe Rogan totally admitted to being a government asset. He'd sell his soul. You know, if the CIA would give him the secrets or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it was. Joe Rogan 100% sold. Yeah, these guys are, all these guys are, I'm not trying to hear it, man. Just not trying to hear it. Freebird, what do you think about Gaj Lamast and his find about the moon as an X-ray reflection of a bigger Earth? I can't contend it because, one, I like him. Once I started listening to him, he's got that slow melodic voice, and his natural language is not English. So I struggle to listen to him, and I see what he's doing. I like how he puts the pictures together. It's very compelling, but I don't know who he is. I haven't met him. I don't know anything about this guy, but I do know it's very compelling. However, I know that moon ain't up there. That's just holographic. Now, whether it is a holographic reflection of a larger Earth, I need more proof. I need more proof than just visuals. So I'm in Texas. I haven't been to the wall. I haven't been to Antarctica. I don't know if there's any other lands beyond. These are not things that I talk about in Archaix because there is absolutely no way I can verify it. And in the Archaix library, I have 4 books about the North and about Antarctica and the North Pole that are all dated from the 1800s. And there's nothing in any of these books about anything unusual. So I don't know. It's so far beyond my ability to verify. I don't know. Can a soul be transferred into AI? Nikki Baxter. Yeah. I believe that this is a part of the fear mongering that's being released into the field. The transhumanist agenda has an agenda, and they would like as a cover story for the collective to believe that the idea is for the transference of a soul into AI. But I believe the exact opposite is the truth. And I've been saying this for over 3 years on my channel, that the whole transhumanist movement in the tech world isn't about what they're telling you it's about. It's about the AI itself working with human scientists to build an avatar that the AI can inhabit and be just like one of us, which introduces your whole Antichrist phenomenon. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Traumatic, I just got to your post. Be in touch very soon. All good. All good. Let's see. Is 5G rollout a psyop? If so, what are they actually doing? Well, I know this. We have to judge things by their effects. I know this. This right here is a Galaxy S24 Ultra. Right here. It's a $1,400 phone, $1,400 American, right here. Anytime the 5G is operating at the top, it sucks. I don't have anything like I'm supposed to have. It sucks. But since I've been out of prison in 2016, I had 4G. All my phones were 4G. My first phone was a Galaxy S8. Then I got the S9. Then I got the S10, the S10 Note. I just kept upgrading, but it was all 4G, and I never had lag time. Everything was in real time. Videos, everything was amazing. I got 5G. I don't have shit. It makes me mad all the time. When I'm out in public, I take this now. I literally take this everywhere I go now because this is portable internet. I just put it in my pocket. Whenever I want internet, I can push this, and 5 other people can have internet with me everywhere around me. I just take this everywhere. I keep it charged, just take it everywhere. It's a mobile hotspot from Verizon. Yeah, because the 5G on these phones absolutely suck. It's terrible. So I have to believe that 5G is something else. It's something else. When we have all kinds of news reports about a bunch of animals dying, fish coming up on shore, and all this, and we got all these YouTubers showing that at nighttime the 5G infrastructure is irradiating us, but in the daytime the towers seem to be off. Why would our controllers want us to be irradiated with 5G while we're sleeping, but not while we're awake? These are questions I often ask, but I'm not qualified to answer them because I don't know. I don't know. But I know I was hospitalized for 13 days and they told me it was COVID-19. But I got buddies in the military that I've introduced you guys to in the past that told me straight up that the medicine that they gave me in the hospital wasn't for COVID-19. It was for radiation sickness. So I don't know. You guys tell me. Remember, it was the very first video that YouTube took off my channel. The video I did in the hospital of the whole experience of me going to the hospital because I got sick just within days after getting my first 5G phone. Within days of getting my first 5G phone, I got irradiated. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible, man. But when I went to the hospital, they told me it was COVID-19. David Curry, Jason, are they spraying stuff in the skies to hide the upcoming Phoenix? Thanks. You're asking me a question that I don't know. I wouldn't know the answer for. I wouldn't know the answer for that. But I did talk to somebody recently in Las Vegas who threw something out there that caught my attention. Because the chemtrails and all that is beyond the purview of the Archaix research. I pretty much get all my data from old books. So I don't really I don't know much about chemtrails. There's too many people already covering it. But this individual, a female, ran this down to me, and she told me that she has family that are a part of the military-industrial complex. She has family that work on military bases. They work for the United States and the Department of Defense and all that. And she said that the spraying does have some side effects with animals, sometimes plant life, sometimes humans. It's to the microns are to the thousandths or whatever. So it's kept down as low as possible. But she said that spraying is done because the particulates that are suspended in the atmosphere from that spraying absolutely prohibit anything invisible from passing over the skies of the United States without Department of Defense and NORAD sensors picking them up. I don't know if that's true or not, but she's saying that it's better for the public to think that they're being, poisoned or all this shit and come up with conspiracy theories and let the public say what it is, than for them to really know what's really happening is that the United States government is protecting the skies above from invisible aircraft. I don't know. I'm just telling you, it was something that caught my attention. Don't know. Fujin Mujin, man, listen, you need to change your handle, bro. I do not know what that means in your language, but in my language, that's FUBAR. And if you're not American, then you probably don't know what FUBAR means. But we got some real good American movies that'll tell you. So, Fujin Mujin, spelled two different ways. Fujin and Mujin, spelled two different ways, combined together. It's clever. Is asking about Mandela effect. Yeah, Mandela effect is real. So is coincidence and synchronicity. So is all the evidence that we're in a simulated environment and not in a real environment at all. Mandela effect is unique, though. It's very unique because it has a property that we've explored in Archaix in multiple presentations. One of the best Mandela effect videos on Archaix was done with Shiva Shampoo. It's a really good one. That man knows his Mandelas. But there is a common denominator that links all the Mandela effects, and that is that these subtle changes never hurt anybody, but they do capture your attention and make you pay attention. And there are also so many of them that it's easy to argue which ones are true and which ones aren't. So taking these two facts into consideration, a third body of facts emerges, and that is we don't experience Mandela effects that make us forget something that could kill us 2 minutes later. We don't experience Mandela effects like we poured milk in a glass, but when we drink it, it's cyanide. We don't experience Mandela effects where we're traveling 40 miles an hour and we see the intersection up there and it's green and there's no traffic moving on either side, but we blink our eyes and open our eyes, and as soon as we're in the middle of the intersection, it's not green, it's skipped yellow, and now it's red, and now and a truck hits you. That would be a Mandela effect too, but it never happens. No one is reporting Mandela effects that harm you. So that should wake you up. That should wake you up and make you process what exactly is happening here. If synchronicity, deja vu, coincidence, and Mandela effects are happening, but they don't harm you, then it's almost as if something is using this, editing your environment in real time in order to capture your attention. If something is at a great distance from you, but they can observe everything you're doing in real time, and they're looking in on you, and they can't reach out and throttle your neck and say, wake up. If you would just wake up, you wouldn't be there anymore. But they can't do any of that. But they can, from the outside of this experience, introduce little programming glitches that are temporal. Temporal ones don't affect whatever defense protocols are in the simulacrum that would stop them from any further intrusions, like the creation of agriglyphs, using an exterior technology to create something inside the field, like an agriglyph, like a very complex geometrical crop pattern. So we've talked about Mandela effect in Archaix before. It is very unique. It's a form of communication, just like the crop circles. K. Beaver, I don't know anything about the strange orb in the sky reported, but these things have been reported for thousands of years. So I know the sky is simulated. I'm just not really moved. I'm not really moved by sky phenomena. Unless it's seen by a whole lot of people, and it has some type of ancillary phenomena with it, like the fallout of gelatinous rain, red dust, red mud. Something falls from the sky. Fish, turtles, amphibians, anything falls from the sky with the visual phenomena. Then it makes it more interesting. Then it becomes Fortean. Then it becomes something of Charles Fort's nature, his research. Enemy of sport, the Mediterranean, France, or I don't know what you're talking about. Rodney Gilead, do you believe there are angels among us? Angel only means messenger, in the same way that the ancient Greeks believed that mortals would receive a visit from Hermes, Mercury, the Roman god Mercury. This was the messenger of the gods. Angel just means messenger. And according to everything that we know on angelology, angels don't look any different than normal humans. In Sodom and Gomorrah, perverted men, wanted to basically have sex with the angels of God. They didn't know they were angels, though. They thought they were just friends of Abraham. There's also a New Testament reference about like, be good to all men, for ye know not when you entertain angels unaware. Yeah, let's see. The atomic bomb, is it a psyop? I believe we dropped a real big bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was so big that it filled the entire bomber, and they had to roll it out, and it fell. But was it nuclear? Was it atomic? I don't think so. Or if it was atomic, have we been gaslit as to what radiation fallout is going to do? Have we been lied to about the effects of long-term radiation? The reason I'm saying this is because anybody can verify this. Hiroshima was hit with one of those. And 2 years later, they rebuilt the city and occupied it. We had a nuclear meltdown in Ukraine in the 80s. And they said 50 miles in every direction was completely irradiated. However, now we find out that it's got the richest flora and fauna in Ukraine. The trees, vegetation, and animals have grown back better than ever before. Radiation. Go figure. 1902, two scientists, one 58 years old, one 61 or 62. Both men grew 2 inches, being saturated with ambient radiation from Mount Pelee, a volcano that just erupted in 1902 and incinerated 40,000 people. They grew 2 inches. Radiation. Interesting. Have we been gaslit? Is the Golden Dome for protection from nukes or a psyop and instead to protect us from the Phoenix event? Oh, I don't think anything can protect anybody from the Phoenix event. I don't believe there's anything in the realm of human technology that can protect against the Phoenix event. When whole regions of the world vibrate to the extent that physical rock liquefies and people and buildings just sink into the ground, what technology do we have that can and then to cover up that there was ever a civilization there, it deposits red dust and red mud all over the area. Yeah, no, I don't believe anything can defend from that. That's why the elite are building cities underground, like they always do. Ha, Jason, snake oil salesman. Which hucksters are to be on the watch for and their wares? Man, I'm going to tell you now. That's just too many of them, man. There's too many to name. We have whole videos right here in Archaix full of all the shills. You know who they are. I don't want to get the name of them right now. We can do another shill video. I might do it on Archaix TV. I don't know. There's so many of them. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Still going down. Let's see. Space was made in a Hollywood basement. Yes, I have heard of the jet fuel hoax. I have looked into it. It's very compelling, but it's not a mystery. It's not a mystery. The reason I'm saying it's not a mystery is because it's like protecting the technology. So, yes, these jets are not carrying that fuel, and those jet engines are amazing. How they compress air and discharge it. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of fuel to run the jet engine, but it doesn't take thousands and thousands of gallons like they said. It's amazing. Yeah, I have looked into it. And that's not a mystery. It's gaslighting. We've been gaslit. The tech industry has gaslit us into believing that all this jet fuel is necessary and all, and it's not. It's not. It also lends credence to the idea that the planes never dropped the buildings in 9/11. Those planes could have never done because there wouldn't have been enough jet fuel to do all that burning anyway, and jet fuel has never burned blue steel. So it's just crazy. Yeah, I've looked into the jet fuel deal. That's the type of stuff I'd rather other YouTubers cover. I don't want to cover that type of stuff. Okay, Lacey Z, you think the pouring over of migrants was real? Why are they deporting people who've been here for years? You think they're military men waiting for to go bat time signal, or just the pony show setup politics agenda? I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, Lacey. And the reason I say this is because with the immigration problem out of control during the Obama years, it was still out of control in the 4 years Trump was here. In the 4 years Trump was president, we still had a border crisis. We still had all kind of influx of, nobody was really deported. And now that Trump is back in power after 4 years of Biden, with Biden just literally opening the borders, Trump hasn't sent out of the country not even a fraction of those who've come into the country in the past 20 years. You're being gaslit. There's only 365 days in a year. They would have to deport 50,000 people a day to get all these people out of here to even make a dent in the amount of people that have come here illegally in the past 25 years. No. It's all, and they're not doing anything like that. Not even a fraction of that. Yeah. It makes big news when they send 200 people back. Well, when they fill up a plane of 80 men and send them to Guatemala, it makes big news. Not even a drop in the bucket. This is all smoke and mirrors. Critical thinking matters. There's no doubt. No doubt. I don't know anything about black goo. That's other YouTuber stuff. I'm not saying it's not true. I just don't know anything about it. Black goo seems to be out of the Supernatural series with Dean and Sam. My boys, Dean and Sam, in that badass car. Going out there killing, murdering, and solving all the urban legends. Supernatural was such a good show. Such a good show. Oh, there's Crystal Pistol. How you doing? Utopian Cow Mothership. I think you got the award for the silliest name here. Wow. Wow. So let's see if I'm 43 years old. This is Joe Fisher. When I was younger, hologram technically was a big deal. It fell if the map in the 1990s. Have you found any information on why the squashed hologram? Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to re-ask all that, Joe. You're gonna have to re-ask all that, Joe. Lost me. Ava's channel, are fossil fuels real? Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay. Coal are the charred remains of human civilizations and forests that were pre-cataclysm. How do we know this? Because in the coal deposits, we have found human femurs that were charred. In the coal deposits, we have found skull fragments of humans. In the coal deposits, which are the charred remains that were compressed after a massive amount of weight was put on top of them, we have found gold necklaces, bracelets, rings, signets, seals. We found pots, all kinds of jewelry. Well, we found thimbles. All the things of basic utility to humans have all been found. Gold vases with silver inlaid designs, all of it's been found in coal deposits all over the world. There are pictures of these things shown. I just showed some on a video from Glen Rose, Texas just the other day. I've got William Cortis's source book project books. They're packed full of details about all these unusual discoveries that come from coal deposits. So, oil. I do not believe oil is a fossil fuel. Coal is, because we use it as fuel, and many of the life forms are fossilized around coal deposits. But the coal is actually the burning forest and burning cities of a human-occupied area that were destroyed and then flooded over and compressed in sediments and materials. So, and this was in recent antiquity, not hundreds of thousands of years ago. We're talking about 5,000 years. So oil has been lumped in with coal, like natural gas. I do not believe that natural gases like methane and all that are from the just strictly fossil fuels. Maybe methane gas, because methane gas is a byproduct of decomposition. But oil itself seems to be the natural blood of the earth. Oil, it's too much of it. It's way. I seem to remember an old Candace Owens video where she was talking about the United States has never worried about running out of oil, and they're never worried about the dollar using its value. And in that video, Candace Owens was talking about. No, Candace Owens is that black chick talking bad about the Jews right now, right? No, what's the black chick's name? Candace something. that was the Secretary of State for a while under Bush. I can't remember her name, but she had done a video. I watched it. I told you guys about it here on YouTube, where she was saying that they have a plan that when other nations attack the value of the dollar, they're going to let them. And then at the least expected moment, the United States is going to uncap all the oil wells that they have found in Texas and in the southwestern United States, and they'll have enough oil to provide for its own infrastructure and export to other countries, and switch back over to a petrodollar. So yeah, it's an old video. It's an old video I've seen of hers where she was actually laughing about, oh no, the United States is never going broke. All right, so let's see. Ray Travels, with all this Iran war talk and confusion, what is real and what is PSYOP? And what should we expect this year of 2025? You need to go back to January 1st and watch my video, 2025 predictions, because I don't change anything. It's all there. It's all there. A lot of those things have already come to pass that are in that predictions video. Go check it out. It's on my channel right now. But yeah, Iran, I'm not worried about that. That's all posturing. It's all posturing. Let's see. Jason, this is Jeremiah Cohen. Your thoughts on Sabrina Wallace and the W Band Tech? I don't know anything. All I know is her name. All I know is her name, and I only watched a single video a long time ago because somebody sent me a clip, timestamped from BitChute, I think. Sabrina Wallace was obviously not very impressed with me or something, and I don't know why somebody sent it to me. I listened to it and I was done. But I don't know. I don't know anything about her. I've never even heard of W Band Tech. I do not watch these other channels like you guys do. I don't have time. I do not have time. Atlantis is found. Man, your handle almost triggered me, man. Critical thinking and continuous digging for the right answers is the way. Books are the future of real info. We could go full circle back to Stone at this rate. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Yeah, man, you're right. And I'm going to tell you now, if there's an infrastructure collapse or anything, that's why I spent 2 years. I'm still selling them. I just don't hardly sell any anymore because I haven't been pushing them. But I spent 2 years selling a drive that literally has 70-something thousand PDFs on it. Yeah. You can't read that many books in your lifetime. But I got books from the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and a bunch of modern books. But it's my library drive, and I wanted to make sure everybody has access to it in case there's ever an attack on the internet or they start censoring a bunch of things, or they say AI. They could easily do a PSYOP next year saying all of a sudden internet goes down, and then 2 weeks later they bring the internet back up. But you gotta digitally register your actual ID, and they log in who you are, so you can start your social media account, and then they'll give you access back to your Telegram, back to your X account, back to your YouTube channel, back to all the things that you want to watch and observe only after this internet takedown. This is the scenario that I'm foreseeing. And in order to kick everybody off the internet, collapse the whole internet, then bring it back up, minus a whole bunch of websites they want to censor. They just totally reboot the servers, just remove all that, and they're going to claim it was an AI attack, but they got it under control. But it's not an AI attack. They specifically used AI to eliminate all the voices they don't want to speak anymore. And then for you to participate on social media or to have access to YouTube, to have access, you'll have to provide, actual real ID. There's no more trolling. There's no more getting online disguised as someone else or anonymously. Yeah, that day's coming, guys. It's coming fast. Believe that. I've been predicting that for a couple of years. But in order to achieve that, they have to create an emergency. In order to make everybody get on board with that, they have to take something from them first. Yeah, it's called grooming. They're going to groom us. And what I mean is, can you imagine what it's going to do to a lot of people when they no longer have access to the internet. Everything's down, and all of a sudden they realize just how small their world is. Yeah, your world is just as small as whoever you can go out and talk to now. And we'll say 2-3 weeks go by, and then there's the radio becomes super popular again, and there's radio broadcasts like, oh guys, y'all got a couple more days to wait. They just brought up Nicaragua, Ecuador, Bolivia, all just got their internet back online, and everybody's uploading their IDs so they can get their new social IDs or whatever, so they can participate. And yeah, in the radio, then the radios across the United States say, oh guys, Mexico and Canada just came back online. People in the United States are just like, damn man, we want to get back online. And then the United States starts. They start with California. They start with the West Coast and Arizona, and the rest of the United States is just salivating like, damn, I can't wait to upload my ID so I can participate and see what's going on in the rest of the world, because you've been blind. They can easily do this, and you can say all you want that you're not going to participate, but you're going to have to if you're going to want to be in the know of what's going on anywhere. And they can easily accomplish this by saying AI initiated the attack. Easy to do. Christian Vargas, man, you're my kind of guy, man. You're my kind of guy. Do you think we get to fight the devil once we exit the simulacrum? I'd like a word with the punk. Yeah, man, dude, there's been many people I've been wanting to put knots on their head, man, and I can't do it. Damn. I feel you on that. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to fight the final boss. I think once we exit the simulacrum, you're going to realize that the final boss was just a protocol, just pure programming. Pure programming. Oh, let's see. I don't know if there's more lands at all. That's beyond the scope of the Archaix research. I do know that I have never found a single book ever that even entertains such an idea, ever. That there's an ice wall, and that there are other lands beyond the ice wall. You have to understand, this is a very new concept. Very new concept. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that in the research world, it is an extremely new concept of additional lands beyond the continents we know today. There is no difference. Simulation theory or simulacrum, there's no difference. Simulacrum is merely a copy of something else. I believe this simulation is a copy of a place that is real somewhere else. Jonathan Weston, I'm going to say that that's my opinion. Is the technology that is released by the elite over the centuries less than what they have underground to make it appear like there is progress? Yes, I've discussed this in previous presentations, and I've given examples like 1902, when all of a sudden everything that's in a kitchen today seems to be invented in 1902, a Phoenix year. To me, it's like, okay, well, the elite realize, okay, month of May has already passed. Nothing real bad happened. We just had red dust fall out, and a strange red star appeared in the sky, and we had volcanoes erupting all over the world, and a bunch of people were killed. But once it was over, it's over. So in the end of 1902, all of a sudden, everything's released onto the market. New federal bureaus, new companies. Almost every single Fortune 500 company known today, you can trace its parent companies all the way to 1902. I've done videos on that and named them. Air conditioning, suddenly invented by a company named Carrier in 1902. So many things we take for granted in our homes today all seem to have appeared in 1902. Yeah. That stuff's coming up from the underworld after these resets. That's my best guess. See, I'm looking for all caps. Peter Birdsall, you must be new to my channel. You said, can we even change this ancient system of global controls? that's rotten from the top down? If not, what would you suggest we do to live healthy, free, and separate? You must be new to my channel. My We Immortals playlist it answers just this in so many different ways. Exactly what we're here to do, why we're going through this, and no, you're not here to change the world, because it's a programming protocol designed to be believable. It has to be evil. And all this is explained in those presentations. The playlist you need to be on is We Immortals, or my podcast, because I do a lot of explanations in my podcast with others. I have a playlist for this just podcasts. Looking for see. Carly Simon, I know you pretty good. Question: can Cypher predict the next time West Coast volcanoes will blow, please? If you don't have the data for when West Coast volcanoes blew in the past, no. It's a relativity-based diurnal programming, and it absolutely requires actual events measurable in the field, the exact timing when those events happen, in order to predict the next times those will happen. So no, if you don't, I don't know the dates of volcanoes that blew up in the past on the West Coast, except for was it May 18th, 1980 that Mount St. Helens blew? That's one. I would need one more in order to run the software, and then it's just going to give me 3 to 5 probable dates. Let's see. Are they trying to turn us into cyborgs with all the spraying, nanotech in the food? I don't think so. Oh, excuse me. Second son. A lot of y'all asking about that second son. What is the truth about the facts surrounding the sinking of the Titanic? It's always had me questioning the ship and the whole setup. I think it's really simple. There were many things carried out at the same time. One of them, the Titanic, was switched out for, I think, the Olympia. And the Olympia was about to be scrapped, and it was switched out for insurance purposes. Let's see. Also, the sinking of the Titanic totally bankrupted the White Star Steamship Company. The sinking of the Titanic has had a lot to do with 3 American billionaires who had no intention of even being on the Titanic, but they were all invited and given like badass prestigious rooms, and they were induced to be on the maiden voyage of the Titanic. They were probably given a bunch of carrots, and put a bunch of carrots in front of their hand. They were told they're probably going to be surrounded by a bunch of other famous people and all that. Well, the people that wanted them dead, the elite world bankers, because they wanted to pass the Federal Reserve, they got those 3 men. One of them was Waldorf Astoria. Another one I think was Strauss. There was 3 American billionaires who were going to oppose the takeover of the United States economy by the Jewish-controlled Rothschild banking dynasty. They had to be removed, and the best way to remove them was sink them in a ship. And these people have never cared about how many other people have to die in order to get their objective. Look at 9/11. So, yeah, that's what that was. There's really no mystery here, no mystery. And did it hit an iceberg? I doubt it. I believe it probably blew. It probably had a bomb stuck on the put in the hole. But I'm also on board with the idea that another ship was very close by to make sure that the Titanic sank. Yeah. Let's see. Craig Moyle, yeah. Do you think missing people or some missing people have been taken into this underworld network? Yeah. Listen, from the very beginning of my channel, I've been telling you guys that all the energy, the mass of billions of dollars from NASA, Ancient Aliens networks, Gaia networks, all of this is orchestrated to get you to look up when all the activity is happening beneath our feet, and always has been. There has always been a breakaway civilization underneath us. So it's this makes sense of the European stories of the fairies, how they come in and out of the ground, the trolls, the hobgoblins, switching out human babies. Yeah, the stories of the mowing devil who created crop circles. Little children would go out and investigate it, and then they would be gone. Remember the story of the green children of England? I can't remember the name of the town. It's a famous story, but 2 children with green skin appeared in England. They spoke a totally alien language no one had ever heard of. But by the time they learned English, the English people got the story out of them. And they claimed to come from the underworld and that they had come too close to the surface and got lost. So, let's see. Where does the name Elite come from? I would say it's Jewish. The god El. Jonathan Weston, another good one. Do the underground elite lose technological progress after cataclysm, or is it maintained at the highest levels for many ages? First of all, 2239 BC in the Great Flood, it looks like they lost their technology. Do you remember the presentations I've done in the past where it shows that it appears that even the technolithic precision had changed to post-technolithic? The molds became more primitive. All throughout Central and South America, we have these practice molds where it looks like people were trying to refamiliarize themselves with the technology or calibrate a pre-existing older technology into new settings because it wasn't working optimally like it used to. Remember, the Great Flood completely collapsed an entire biosphere. Atmospheric pressure changed, oxygen levels changed, everything changed. Animals and humans, flora, fauna, everything grew very small now. It wasn't large, titanic like everything prior to the cataclysm. So I'm sure that the change of biosphere would have also changed technology as well. And I'm also fairly certain that many of the technological artifacts, parts that we have found in the historical record among archaeological digs, they're explained by the fact that there has always been a technologically advanced civilization here somewhere. They may have been an extreme minority, but they've been somewhere. Most of the times, with the ability to move in and out of the underworld quickly, which is the whole story of Genesis, the Edens, and in the book of Enoch. Yeah, in the book of Enoch, the Watchers didn't come from heaven. The Watchers came out of a mountain, Mount Ardis. All roads lead to the Phoenix. Somebody said, Sandy D, Jewish Nazis, ? Did they slaughter their own people? No, they sacrificed, they scapegoated their own people because it serves 2 purposes. Anytime you have a parasite-host relationship, the parasite must be self-regulatory. If it's not, it will grow against the host, and then the host will recognize the parasite for what it is, like what's going on right now in international politics. And this is so the parasite, always being smarter than the host because it understands the relationship, it has to for it to perpetuate its existence. The parasite then goes ahead and promotes the behavior of against the parasite itself. It will sacrifice much of itself to keep its own numbers down. because it can never multiply against the host, because then it couldn't be a parasite no more. Once a parasite is no longer a minority and it becomes almost equal in numbers to the host, the parasite-host relationship no longer works at all. Then it becomes a situation where the host wakes up to what is to all the wealth and all the resources and all the trespasses and everything that it has suffered at the hands of the parasite, and it retaliates. Well, the retaliation process actually benefits the parasite, because the parasite now is able to choose which elements of itself, of its own communities, can be sacrificed to appease the anger of the host, which narrows down the numbers of the parasite, which becomes more easily self-regulatory. And it takes a while for it to grow back. So the parasite-host relationship is completely preserved, even though the host is lashed out and eliminated many among those who were parasites. For those who know. Mr. C, where's all the pictures from the Civil War? There's only like 18 pictures that are official U.S. government approved pictures of the Civil War, and they all came from a greenhouse, from lithographs that don't even show a war. Everything else is AI created or models or from movie stills. Everything. Yeah, don't be fooled, guys. There are no Civil War photographs. Don't be fooled. Showing, actual battles, wars, showing what cities look like after the destruction, none of that shit. But we do have pictures from the 1840s and the 1850s and the 1860s. We just don't have Civil War photos. Imagine that. What really happened? Let's see. All right, let's see. I'm looking at questions here. What about the chicken they found on the beach? I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, man. Where did the $100 million go from the fires in Southern California fundraisers? All right, Clayton L. Bryant, I'm going to close with you today. You guys' questions kind of went dark. I was expecting some other type of questions for psyops and all that, but you know what? I'm going to answer this to the best of my ability. This is my opinion. The LA fires removed some of the richest, most prestigious neighborhoods. But if I was in the know, if I was privy to the information that in the very near future, an epic disaster was going to occur in California, then I wouldn't have a problem with somebody else's scheme to go ahead and remove a bunch of elite mansions and elite government housing, government officials' mansions and Hollywood and all. I wouldn't have a problem with go ahead and burning all this to the ground and all that, because maybe I could garner some insurance off this and relocate before some epic cataclysm happens to California, which has been in the building for decades now. So I'm just throwing that out there, that the LA fires were contrived. There's nothing natural about it. There's even evidence that there was some type of drone technology that was spreading the fires, dropping things that were incendiary. So I don't know. This is all my opinion, but I think that because it was the richest areas of LA and because of some of the mansions were owned by politicians and all that, I'm pretty much on board that the whole LA fire deal was was premeditated. And it was premeditated so a whole bunch of these people could go ahead and collect that insurance money and get the hell out now and do it under the guise of a disaster. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna close with you. So yeah, I got some things to do. I got some errands to run. Go give me something to eat. I got to start putting some stuff together because I'm going back on the Cypher Telegram group live tomorrow. Do another tutorial. But yeah. Yeah, you guys had some great questions, but you know, there's always more questions than answers in Q&A. I can't get to everybody. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out, and I now have my ducks in a row on the errant ads. I've got your ads all put in a file and all that. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna start putting the errant ads back on the videos again. Excuse me. It's AC. I got a cold in here. I got a cold in here. And when I turn the AC off, it is so quiet. Damn, it's so quiet. All right, guys. I love you, and I will holler at you later. Next video is episode 2, Archaix 4.0.